Welcome to Straight Talk on Retirement, your no-hype source for financial advice and making informed choices about your retirement planning. Get on the phone to talk today at 969-KTRS, 888-550-KTRS, or star KTRS from your cell phone.
The opinions voiced in this show are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial advisor or tax advisor prior to investing. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group, a registered investment advisor. Private Advisor Group and JBL Financial Services, Inc. are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Now, here are your retirement coaches, Jeff and Aaron Lapidus.
Well, hello, St. Louis, and welcome to Straight Talk on Retirement. You're live and local, St. Louis call-in show. I'm Jeff Lapidus, president of JBL Financial Services. Our officer located in beautiful, overcast, cloudy, cool, downtown Clayton, Missouri. I am a 35-plus year veteran of the financial services area, a fee-based investment advisor representative, and financial planner. And I'm joined this week and every single week by my favorite, oldest, prodigal daughter, as well as being a financial planner and investment advisor representative, Aaron.
And I run the health insurance side of our practice. We help our clients make smart choices about their money. The way we do that is by designing a game plan, a written step-by-step strategy, a real game plan that has several goals in mind.
First, it's to preserve, protect, and prudently grow the assets our clients have taken their entire lifetimes to accumulate. Second is to deliver a reliable stream of income, one that they can count on so they can do all the things that they want to do during retirement.
And third is cost-effectively addressing their health care needs, like helping individuals enroll in Medicare and choosing the right plan to supplement their medical coverage.
And then when they're done enjoying their assets during their lifetime, we show them how to pass them on to the people they love, whether it's their spouses or children, grandchildren, churches or charities, whoever it might be, without Uncle Sam or the tax courts taking a big bite out of their money. And as their financial planners and wealth managers, we watch their money every single day, make sure that they're staying on track, and that's why they call us the retirement coaches. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning.
Ready for action?
Are you over there?
Willing and able and ready, which means that the phone lines are open. We'd love to hear from you because Aaron and I have a lot of things on our mind, things we'd like to share today. But what's more important is what's on yours. So give us a call. Eric would love to hear from you. 969-KTRS. Star KTRS from your cell phones or 1-888-550-KTRS. Great. And so, as a reminder to our clients as well as those folks that are prospective clients and listeners, Aaron and I are both practitioners. We do offer free coaching sessions for those folks that would like to come visit with us, especially if you're between the ages of 55 and 75. If you would like to retire or you're already retired. And again, we'd love to hear from you as well. And it looks like we do have John ready to fire up the phone lines this morning. John, good morning. Thanks for breaking the ice and welcome to the show today.
Well, yes, sir. Thank you for your help. My brother-in-law just recently passed away in August, and he was receiving disability benefits at that time. My sister is... she'll be 59 in March. I was wondering what the survivor benefits were for the disability and at what age, what percentage, or when can she receive his Social Security? Does she get either or, whichever one is the most, or how does that work?
You know, that's a lot of questions for a dime, don't you think?
It is. I'm willing to pay a quarter.
Oh, well then.
Awesome. Well, that means you get Aaron because I'm only worth a dime.
All right. Well, that's what I was hoping anyway. I'm kidding.
I'll let it have the answer for free now.
Keep date.
So, unfortunately, I do not believe that there are survivor benefits for disability, the Social Security component of disability income. However, once at 60 years old is when the survivor benefit, there's eligibility. Now, there's a chart, and the discount is different than the 8% annually per year, like for everyone else for your normal Social Security benefit. So when you're 62, it's discounted 32% from your normal retirement age, but it's 60 with the survivor benefit is when it's first available, as long as she does not remarry. And there's a chart on SSA.gov that you can take a look at your age and see what the discounted rate would be.
The other thing to consider here, Aaron, I think also is whether his sister's working.
Well, that's true as well, because there would be a take-back.
She is working, but it's minimal income. I think it would probably be under the threshold of
right, and that's what I was referring to, because we see that many of our clients who do become widows or widowers actually aren't able to elect those benefits because they're actively working and earning over the. Is it 15.4?
Yes, for this year. So next year it'll be slightly higher with the cost of living adjustment.
But that was a terrific
multi-part question.
That was a really good question, John, and it woke me up this morning, so thank you.
Oh, good. Thank you very much for your help.
Appreciate it, and have a great day. Again, our phone lines are open. We'd love to hear from you, 969-KTRS, star KTRS from your cell phones, or 1-888-550-KTRS. Social Security claiming strategies, they're important.
There aren't very many left.
No, there certainly aren't. And we could go through a whole slew of scenarios that we've seen where,
yes.
If you were, I guess it was, you had to be 62 by May of 2015, I guess it was, to be able to use most of these. And unfortunately, the door has been shut, as they might say, right?
That's right.
The door's been closed. But, if you'd like to talk to Aaron or I during the week, the doors are never closed. The phones are never off. So what you can do is a couple things. Number one is you can always send us an email, Jeff or Aaron at jblfinancial.com, or go to our website, right?
That's right, jblfinancial.com. You can sign up for our monthly newsletter.
While you're perusing the website.
That's right. There's a little pop-up box on the left-hand side of the screen that comes up. You can give us your email address, and we'll send you the newsletter every single month. Or you scroll down the page in the newsletter section, click sign up, give us your information, we'll send it out to you.
And Erin and her staff do keep the last 6 to 8 months of those archived for your viewing, downloading, or printing convenience. But there's also another way you can contact us, right? Well, several different ways.
That's right. Through our Facebook and Twitter at JBL Financial. We are discussing retirement tips for your kids.
That's right, which is tell them to retire and leave you alone, right?
That's a retirement tip for you.
There you go.
And we're sharing our new Health Insurance 101 station on SoundCloud. So if you look us up on SoundCloud, there's all kinds of clips of me talking about insurance.
I love that idea. And I
know
the
most boring SoundCloud in the world.
And it looks like we have John number 2. John, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
I have a question about my security benefits.
Fabulous.
Okay. I am a retired teacher, so windfall really hurt my Social Security, but I get a little bit that pays for Part B premium, and I have about enough left over for you have to pay. Okay. My wife has just turned 65, and they told me that even though she has qualified, that windfall will not allow her to receive a benefit. I'm curious if she would get spousal benefit from my Social Security.
So she would have access to the spousal benefit, but the windfall is still going to apply. So they're just going to do the same windfall calculation on the spousal benefit. So it sounds like she would still end up without additional Social Security benefit.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is hers has to be larger than his, unless she never worked, in which case I guess then his would be.
Yeah.
So you're looking for that loophole, brother. I like the creativity. I love the desire, but guess what?
I'm curious now then how much she has to earn to be eligible for, like I say, it's just a small amount of money, but we're looking for to cover the Medicare B premium. So how long does she have to work, or how much does she have to earn, or what's the criteria?
Well, I mean, being covered for Medicare, you have to be being eligible. I'm sorry, not for Medicare, but for Social Security, you have to have at least 40 covered quarters.
Right.
To become eligible for Social Security benefits.
Yeah, she has 40 quarters.
Well, then it's not an issue.
So the issue is that she didn't earn enough to have enough. When the windfall takes away her Social Security benefit, there's no remainder. Hers as well.
Oh, hers as well?
What would that threshold be?
Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to calculate that without seeing her previous earnings, because the way your Social Security benefit is calculated is it takes your top 30 earning years or 30 earning quarters, and that's how they determine your Social Security benefit. So you'd have to earn. So if you looked at her top 30 earning quarters, you would just have to earn more than that in order to continue to bump your benefit up to try and get $134 essentially a month of Social Security benefit.
Right. Okay. So she's just got to keep working.
That is a clever way to make the wife work while the husband is retired.
John, we didn't recommend that.
Yeah, that's why I was hoping spousal cover her. Like I say, we only wanted enough to cover a Medicare premium, but okay. Thank you for your information.
You're very welcome, and we do appreciate your call. And sometimes we love it. We love getting asked questions people already know the answers to.
He was just hoping for a different result. That's fair.
You know, it's more than fair. And we do appreciate your calls. Our phone lines are open. We love to hear from you. 969 KTRS, star KTRS on your cell phones, or 1-888-550 KTRS. And we also do often get questions through the website. Like folks are hitting
contact us.
Contact us. They can write out really whatever narrative they want.
Mm-hmm. We
promise to get back to you within 24 hours. And usually those are great questions, and they do end up showing up as a part of the show.
Yes, they do.
Not everybody's situation is similar, the same, but most of the issues that folks face are generally the same.
That's
so
right.
Your questions, keep them coming. We'd love to hear from you, and hopefully we can provide you with some answers, and if not, things else, maybe some insight that you might not have considered before. And we are in Medicare open enrollment. We want to talk all about Medicare. Obviously, Aaron's here, our resident expert on Social Security.
And
benefits and Medicare, as well as other things.
Well, thank you. That was just a really peppy review.
Okay.
Kind of
you want
tired.
A peppy review?
Tired today, huh?
Call your mother. Let her give.
I've already gotten many reviews via text. Lots of supportive comments.
That's nice. Well, then you're
love and cherishment.
Okay, you made that. That's like 11-teen, right, honey?
Yes, it was. It felt right.
That's a family word.
It's a nice made-up word.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about, if we can, this morning. You know, the markets have run very nicely this year so far. The market's grown
over 25% since Trump.
Since Trump has been in office, the S&P's up about 14% so far for the year, which is nice. And we haven't seen a major pullback. Major being in excess of 10% so far this year. And so, as you can imagine,
people are waiting.
Some folks are waiting. I'm not. Other folks are wondering, are there things that we should be doing to capture those gains? What types of things our clients are asking us? What are you and Aaron planning on doing in terms of not just capturing those gains, but also dealing with portfolios being out of touch? You know, they've basically grown. They're out of balance. What are you going to be doing that? So we did meet with some clients last week, Joe and Sally.
Before we meet with Joe and Sally, we should take our toll-free line.
All right. So we're gonna do that. Looks like Dave. Dave, good morning. Welcome to the show.
I had a question, probably in Aaron's department or knowledge.
Well, they all are, so it's cool.
Yeah. What's the Medicare Part B premium going to be for 2018 if you collect Social Security, you're held harmless, or if you don't?
Right. So if you are held harmless, your Social Security is going to still be increased because they did provide a cost of living adjustment to Social Security. So
2%, right?
That's right. So that means that Medicare is allowed to increase the Part B premium by no more than 2%. So whatever your current premium is, the maximum will be 2 additional % of that. They haven't released the number for people that are outside of Social Security, which means that they're not held harmless, so that number can fluctuate more than a 2% increase.
Sorry.
Okay.
We hope that helps you, but that really was, you're outside, so you really wanted a hard number, so we're sorry about that.
Okay, thanks.
But we do appreciate your call today. It's a good one.
It's a good one. So Social Security and Medicare have a hold harmless agreement, which means that if you're taking your Social Security benefit and you're also enrolled in Medicare, if Social Security doesn't provide a cost of living adjustment, like, for example, during one of the last year of the Obama administration, there was no cost of living adjustment on Social Security. So Medicare is not allowed to increase the premium for those that are simultaneously enrolled in Social Security and Medicare. What became a point of contention for a lot of people was that there are many individuals taking Medicare that are not currently taking Social Security.
Right.
They don't have access to that hold harmless agreement because they're not using Social Security. So Medicare is able to increase the premium on those individuals, and it could be substantially more than a 2% adjustment, which is actually what happened several years ago.
Is that a forever thing?
It is. Well, not only is it forever, but then once you join Social Security or as you're on Medicare, the premium does increase generally on an annual basis. You'll see an increase on your Part B premium. But right now it's sitting at $134 a month.
Cool. So 2% is only about
couple bucks.
Like $2.75 or something.
Exactly. But it's for the real concern comes from the people that aren't on Social Security because we don't know what that increase will be. They haven't released that number.
Okay. Well, once you have it, I'm sure that you'll release it. You won't.
I will happily let everyone know what their
keep it hostage
liability
like you had to do with what was happening with Medicare.
That is true.
The Medicare plans
and the
information, which I know we'll get to later in the show.
Yes, please.
Unless people keep calling, which we love, by the way. We love for you to
great.
Call 969 KTRS, star KTRS, your cell phones, or 1-888-550 KTRS. You know, the nice part about doing this, doing part of our show live next week is they get to see you throwing stuff at me. Which you like to do.
That has never happened.
Which you like to do.
Not even as a child.
Whether it's barbs, whether they're in the air, sort of these silent barbs being thrown or other things. But
they're not silent. All of the listeners are enjoying them.
You still have a ride home today, don't you?
Well, Mom would come get me.
So yes, she would. So let's talk about Joe and Sally.
I missed them. I've missed Joe and Sally.
Yeah, I know. We gave them a week off. They were in Florida doing something, having some fun. Maybe helping out with the relief effort down there. So Joe's 61, Sally is 60. Clients that visited last week. Joe had retired early from the Boeing company.
Oh, nice.
And he had been a long-time employee there, and so he did have a nice pension. And Sally continues to work part-time, and we like to think of her money as walking around money.
Now,
nice.
what's walking around money for those of us that don't know?
Well, if you were a guy, it's sort of like money that you have so that when you need something, you got it in your pocket. For her, it's really sort of buying some of the fun stuff, taking care of stuff for the kids. And her money isn't really being contributed at this point to deal with the family budget, but she's there able to buy gifts and presents. We have a lot of folks.
So she has all the fun money, is what?
Yeah, that's even a better way to put it. Thank you. So Sally has walking around fun money.
Oh, and Joe's the milk money.
Exactly. So in their case, they happen to be moderate investors. We did a risk tolerance questionnaire for them. They filled out. They told us they were growth of income investors, which means that their mix should be between stocks, bonds, and cash, 60% stock and 40%, typically 30% bonds and 10% in cash. Fortunately, as they've been fully invested this year, they have seen their investments grow, as many folks have, and even as they were making withdrawals, because in their situation, as you know, Joe does have his pension, but they still required about $3,000 per month of income.
Especially because they're not Social Security eligible yet.
Yes, exactly.
So we're making up the difference there.
Right, and we know that that's a faucet that we need to turn on until Joe reaches age 66.
Okay.
I know we'd had a discussion about 62, and we can even go through that example, but at this point we've kind of made the preliminary decision to go to 66 because of their assets that they have.
Okay.
They have about $1.2 million in IRA assets, and they also have some other non-retirement assets, but that $36,000 per year that we're pulling represents about 3% of their capital today, a withdrawal rate.
So they're rock stars.
Yeah, well, they're like you two.
Oh, so just average.
Yeah,
just filling stadiums.
Yeah, I mean, they're filling stadiums. They're cool, in terms of rock stars. Now, when Joe decides to begin to pull his Social Security, which at 66, if he decides to draw it, it's going to run somewhere in the area of about $2,500 a month.
Oh my gosh,
their total
$500
income,
a month.
Yeah, so that turns them from U2 into the Rolling Stones.
So we can tell who your favorite bands are.
Well, yeah, they're ones that you can sing the song. They actually have words.
You do have words.
Yeah, they do too, but they're not.
They're not
the Stones. They're not the Stones. Okay.
So Bob and Sally, they're the Stones.
I mean, I could have said like the Who or something. It still wouldn't be the Who either. All right.
Well,
but
Bob and Sally, 5 years from now, the Stones.
They will be rock stars. And so their question was, his first question was, since the market has moved so significantly up without a major pullback, what are we doing? What decisions are we making for them, as well as other clients this year, as a way to capture those gains and keep those gains for the rest of the year?
So the first thing we did was we offered to increase their level of cash reserves to fund their monthly distributions from, generally we keep 3 months. We said we could increase that to 6 months.
Yeah, and longer if they wanted to do that. Sure. And that's kind of important because it's a planning paradigm. You and I have decided some time ago is that what we like to do is quarterly have enough cash flow there to basically meet that client's monthly distribution needs.
Right, without any market fluctuation having any bearing on that.
Right, on that cash, because we're keeping it in a money market account. I think they felt like, at least he did. He felt that he didn't. She didn't. So he felt that by going to 6 months,
they were taking some of those gains off the table.
Right, and at the same time, when we're making the sales in their account to generate that cash, what we're also doing is we're rebalancing the portfolio at that time. So it really kind of serves two purposes.
And in general, we also are going to be rebalancing all portfolios between the 15th and 30th of December to help with those gains, capture some of those gains. Yeah,
I mean, we want to make sure that all the capital gains distributions, especially associated with our clients' mutual funds and those retirement plans, will have at least been declared, and therefore they were earned, so that when we want to make some changes, we can then be in a position to do something to capture those gains as well.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of like phase one.
So before we move on to our next question, we have to answer Bob.
We have to answer Bob. Bob has a great question, and Bob, I want to thank you for actually wanting to ask this question because
it's a good one.
Well, it's a good one for us because we didn't have to make it up. Bob, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Aaron.
How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Great.
Great. Thanks so much for calling.
Well, my question is about the holding company, LPL, swallowing up NPC, and what effect that'll have on people.
Well, good. So, great. So I hope you guys are having a nice weekend, by the way.
We are. And we're staying warm.
I love that. So let's answer that for you. LPL is the name of for those of our listeners, LPL Financial is the name of our new broker-dealer.
For a whole year at this point now. So
exactly. We made that change actually at the beginning of October last year, where we left NPC, which was our previous broker-dealer. Last week it was announced that
they decided they wanted to follow us.
That's right. We were, it was, kind of a Karnak thing, like we knew we were going to leave. We knew we were leaving. We didn't know that they were going to bring everybody with us. Right. So what happened was NPC sold their investment advisory firm, which would have actually included us, which it didn't, to LPL, and they're asking everybody to repaper. The nice part is that we've already made that transition. But they did send it out they did send a letter out to all of our clients who've already made that transition, so they killed a few trees for nothing, Bob, so it's cool.
And so for us, for our clients, it won't have any impact because we've already made that transition. The reason that NPC was still sending those statements out to people is because if you had held some money or an open account that hadn't been fully closed yet at NPC, they're still required to send that information out. And for most of our clients, their accounts weren't fully closed at NPC because what happens is when we transferred all of our assets over from NPC to LPL, they keep your NPC account open to sweep over any dividends or interest that is put into that account after we've moved the funds over.
Usually for a 3-month period, so that's
3 to 6 months. And since we did it in October, you had an account open with NPC in this year. So
right. Well, did it double in size their organization, or how did that work?
Bob, it's interesting because what happens is that we as advisors aren't slaves. So, well, we're not. So what happened was is that the accounts were basically going to switch over, but the advisors still have a choice to determine whether they want to switch.
Right, so they could actually leave LPL.
But then they would have to go through the nightmare that, unfortunately,
you had to live through, Bob.
And by the way, you and your wife were very nice about this, but as you remember, we had to repaper, which is we had to open up a new account with LPL, and then we had to do a transfer form, etc. Right. For those advisors that will be transitioning to LPL,
they'll have to do something similar.
Well, probably a little bit. Maybe a little bit less, but at least their assets will be where they want to go. If they decide to go to a different broker-dealer, then it's no different.
But also, NPC was not nearly as large as LPL, so
NPC was like the number 15 broker-dealer.
And LPL is the number 1, so it definitely wasn't. It's not increasing LPL's size by a significant amount. It's how many advisors were at NPC? Like
2,400.
Yeah.
LPL has
thousands.
Yeah, I mean like maybe 8,000 or 9,000. So again, that assumed everybody moved over. What the big deal here, Bob, was honestly is that NPC had developed a lot of business in what they call the bank channel, which is directly with financial institutions having in-house advisors, and so that really was the business that was going to go over. The rest of it, people like us, for Aaron, they were just hoping that would happen. So I appreciate your call because I know that all of our clients continue to be listeners.
And get these great letters from NPC.
Exactly, and we've had about a half a dozen calls this week, but you just saved me an email, so thank you.
All right. Well, listen, it's nice chatting with you both, and have a great show. It's always good to hear you.
Thank you so much, and we do appreciate your continued support.
Yes, we do.
Which is nice. So, and you know what's nice is that he's one of those Joe and Sally.
I don't know about that. That can't be confirmed or denied.
Okay. You're right. You're right. As a matter of fact, you're probably right. I don't know if compliance would really like me saying that, but I apologize. So again, getting back to our previous situation with Joe and Sally, we're looking at doing things in a couple ways. Number one is that for those folks that would like to capture some gains, one easy way to capture gains, obviously, is generating cash in your portfolio. Good idea, though, is to have a place and a reason for that cash and where it's going to go, and naturally increasing the length or the amount, if you want to call it, the number of distributions that we have available, maybe going from 3 months to 6, or even to a year in some cases, if that's something somebody wants. That's an easy way for us to capture those gains.
Sure.
The other one is through portfolio rebalancing, which you ought to be doing at least once a year anyway.
Right.
Naturally. So this is, again, part of our normal ongoing process. At the same time, that's when Aaron and I do check our lineups, those portfolios that we're creating, make sure that we're having the most cost-effective as well as hopefully funds that are performing in a way that we feel meets our criteria at that point, and so we can make those changes.
Right.
And that's what we'll be doing by the end of the year. So I guess what we should do is, since it isn't the end of the year, but it is past 30 minutes after the hour, let's take our first break. We come back, we'll be here to answer some more of your questions. I'm Jeff Lapidus, the retirement coach.
I'm Erin Lapidus, the health insurance coach.
Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. That's right. We're back with some more straight talk on retirement here on the Big 550 KTRS Talk Radio St. Louis. I'm Jeff Lapidus, the retirement coach.
I'm Erin Lapidus, the health insurance coach.
And Eric Gabrielson, our incredible producer. He's willing, he's waiting, and he's wanting. Take your calls at 969-KTRS, star KTRS from your cell phones, or 1-888-550-KTRS. And I know, because I keep watching the phone lines at home. I'm sorry,
at
back
home.
at the actually I don't see them at home because we don't have a line at home, but at the office I keep seeing the lights flashing. They're not really coming to me as much as I would like, but they're calling you, Aaron, because it's Medicare open enrollment season.
Yes.
And there's a reason.
There's a reason.
There is a good reason.
For what?
For us to talk about Medicare. And
Bob and Sally were putting them to the side.
They're gone. We'll get back to them in a little while.
Okay.
I really felt like getting onto these questions because
You're just so excited?
I'm excited about it. Well, I mean, this is a fun time of the year. With folks that are making that initial transition into from company health insurance generally to Medicare, it's exciting. It's also a little scary.
Yes.
Time to do that. There are lots of questions. Making that transition We try to make it as easy as we can. You have a process. We really hold their hands all the way through.
Yes.
Not only enrolling in Medicare, but getting that supplement, making sure we've got a plan that makes sense for them, making sure it happens on exactly the right time, which is, a very cool thing to do. And we do have, we do often receive a lot of questions on this. So let's start off with the ones that we didn't get last week.
Okay.
Or the week before that.
Oh my! They keep coming.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Wonderful. So Tom asked this question. He's Joe's cousin. Who has the best Medicare Advantage plan today, and why?
This is a good question.
I know.
Well, you didn't write it, so you can't.
Uncle Tom had
it. Uncle Tom.
Yeah, he's Joe's. Yeah, Joe's the nephew.
Oh, okay. Mike's cousin.
Mike's cousin.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, I think that there isn't a best Medicare Advantage plan, because really what the best plan is the one that fits your needs the best. And the great thing about Medicare Advantage is that you're allowed to reevaluate that on an annual basis. So you can start out in a Coventry policy that's an HMO-style plan. You can move to United or Essence. You can move from an HMO to a PPO depending upon what your needs are. So I think it's really important just as your needs change every year, the plans change. So it's important to have an analysis done every year on where you are, what you think your needs are going to be for the upcoming year, and what the different plans can do to help facilitate that for you. Because although there are differences in the networks between Coventry, United, and Essence, which are the top three carriers in Missouri and Illinois, and there are slight differences in the plans, there are some differences that can make a big difference for you in terms of what your needs are. So we talked about Coventry giving $1,000 a year towards hearing aids. The other companies don't provide that. So if it's time for you to have new devices, Coventry might be $1,000 benefit to you. But if you're not in need of that, that's not important. Coventry and United also offer the ability to take your network with you if you're going to go out of town for an extended period of time. Essence, unfortunately, doesn't have that capability because they can't hook into a national network like Coventry and United have that ability. But if you don't go out of town for extended periods of time, you don't need that benefit. So these are important conversations to have with a professional in terms of not just what your current health needs are, but all the other benefits that these Medicare Advantage plans provide. It's important to kind of have a conversation to see who's going to maximize your needs. If you like silver sneakers, that's available across all of the plans. Dental, do you have a dentist that works within a network, or do you just want a straight indemnity, which means cash back to whatever dentist you go and see? There are a lot of nuances between the policies. Okay,
so that was pretty politically correct answer, which I like.
Okay.
So if we can, let's bring this down a little bit, because that was really
a high-level answer.
That was a very high-level question, a high-level answer. So let's get down to it. Let's just say today that you're enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan.
Okay.
We know that you're the ones who are really eligible for open enrollment.
Right.
Let's assume for a moment that you're not in Essence, because Essence is the smallest network.
Yes.
Of providers, but you're with one of the other plans.
Okay.
Okay. If we were to compare and contrast, assuming again, big assumption, your primary care physician participates in the other network plans, whether it's
United or
i.e. Coventry,
or
etc.
United. Okay.
Generally, the benefits of any one plan, we're talking about benefits, i.e. copays, out-of-pockets, how are they different, and who would you consider to be better, all things being equal?
Okay, so what you're saying is that you're going to hold me to answering this question.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I think there's a reason. We've had some discussions about this, and I just sort of like to bring the folks in on this, because I feel like there's a story here.
Sure. So all things being equal, if we're looking between United Healthcare and Coventry, which hold the two largest networks
this year,
Coventry's network is substantially larger than United Healthcare's network, so that can be a benefit to
You're talking
some
about
people.
more physicians. Right?
You have access to more physicians inside of not only their HMO network, but their PPO style network.
Gotcha.
The copays are less expensive with Coventry, $5 to the primary versus $10 with United, $39 to a specialist versus $45 with United. That's actually a change in their benefits. Their maximum out-of-pockets are equal this year, so $2,900 for both Coventry and United Healthcare.
I think that's important, too, because with most company health insurance programs, we know that the deductibles today are generally, a lot of them are higher than $3,000.
Sure.
And the maximum out of pocket, when you're talking about if someone's hospitalized, they can run up to $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 for an individual.
Yes.
It's a lot lower.
Well, it's significantly lower with Medicare because you have to remember that Medicare itself is backing you up at 80%. This supplement that you've selected, the Medicare Advantage plan, if that's what you've chosen, is only helping you to cover the last 20%. So that's what that $2,900 represents, is the last 20% that Medicare isn't covering for you. So actually Coventry lowered theirs because this current year is $3,400, so they've dropped their maximum out of pocket. The other substantial difference, and this is for people that are on Tier 2 and up prescriptions, is that Coventry has no prescription drug deductible, and United has incorporated a $405 prescription drug deductible. They've had it for the past couple of years because, as we talked about it several times on the show, all prescription drug plans are set up the same way. The insurance companies have some flexibility to make some changes to them, but they have to hold a certain standard. Coventry decided to waive the prescription drug deductible that is inside of every prescription drug plan. Some other standalone plans waive theirs as well, but what United decided to do was incorporate that at Tier 2 and up. So Tier 2 through 5, you're subject to the prescription drug deductible.
For us that aren't covered today, is Tier 1 generic drugs?
Tier 1 is preferred generic. So you can think of those as like the statins, things that have been generics that have been on the market for a substantial amount of time.
Okay.
Tier 2 is non-preferred generic, so that would be prescriptions that have turned generic but haven't been generic for nearly as long.
Gotcha.
3 is preferred brand, and 4 is non-preferred brand.
Expensive.
Exactly. So once you get into those upper tiers, United Healthcare has the deductible, whereas Coventry has not incorporated a prescription drug deductible.
So those are a couple of reasons then. I mean,
yes.
The fact is that, and I know last year in the same boat, Coventry had increased their out-of-pocket expenses.
Yeah, they
hadn't had some of these.
Right.
So we were seeing some folks moving the other way.
Exactly, and this year we're seeing a migration back to Coventry.
Okay. And that's what's up. Open enrollment is cool.
That's right, because you get to make that decision every single year for yourself.
No pre-existing conditions.
No
right?
Pre-existing conditions. No medical underwriting. You have a guarantee issue, which means as long as you have the application into the insurance company by December 7th, on January 1st you're going to have new coverage and a new card.
And, it's interesting here because, and again, this is for our listeners. Naturally, we've already reached out to our clients.
Yes.
We already had the database information on them.
Mm-hmm.
We've reached out to them. For those we said, hey, you're over it.
Come on in.
Come on in. Let's talk about it. Let's review this. But, it's interesting because if you're in one of these Medicare HMO plans, you're not paying anything. I mean, you're paying zero on a premium. So it's like, why should I move? Well, you might want to consider it. If it isn't something, they do say if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. But in this case, why not fix it in advance?
Of course.
Well, I mean, especially if you're taking specifically on the drug part, if you're taking specific drugs, they're in these tiers. If you need hearing aids, or you're gonna have to have them replaced.
Right.
If you're right, I mean,
there could be little things, which is, for example, I just met with someone yesterday who's considering that she might want to see an orthopedic surgeon for a shoulder problem.
Right.
Well, she hasn't picked an orthopedist yet, so maybe that would lead her towards Coventry because the network is larger. Or she has a list of physicians we can check and see, and you might make a decision based on that. So you can make decisions for a lot of different reasons, but it's important to review it every single year and at least talk it out with someone because in some cases, staying where you are won't hurt, but maybe you can improve your situation.
And that's why I like to think that I'm pushing this issue a little bit here on the air because it's great to be able to save people. If we're in a situation where we're going to assist clients saving money, that just goes back into that money stays in their pocket. and they have more money to do things they want to do.
Sure.
Right? I mean, it really is. Unfortunately, health insurance now is a commodity.
Right.
It makes sense just like anything else, right? I mean, it's like the money.
She want to pick the
She wants to buy something. She goes online. She looks at
shops the best.
She shops like crazy. She can find the same quality, lower price. Why would you pay more?
Exactly.
Especially if you can make a switch 12 months from now.
And no charge and no issue in terms of getting the coverage.
And the best part is that for most of these people that are listening to our voices on this matter, you're not changing your doctor. We don't want you to.
No.
You don't want to.
You'll have to fight me for the policy
right.
that doesn't include your physicians because, in general, we're able to accommodate almost everyone's needs in terms of finding plans that fit their physician, which is why
it's their choice.
Of course, which is kind of why going back to there is no best plan because what we're trying to do is find the best thing for you.
Right.
And so Tom actually had a question.
Yes,
he couldn't stay on the line.
No, he couldn't, and I don't have my glasses.
But he wants to know, in general, what the cost of Medicare Part A, B, C, and D are. So, man, doesn't it sound complicated when you read all those letters? So Medicare...
I can't read them.
Well, it's a good thing I could see from all the way over here. Maybe I'll drive home. You okay over there?
Go ahead, Eagle Eye.
Okay. So Medicare Part A and B, they come directly from the government. If you have qualified for Medicare, Part A won't cost you anything because you've paid in your entire working life through the Medicare tax. Part B for this year is $134 a month. If you're taking Social Security, it's going to come directly out of that. If not, they'll bill you on a quarterly basis.
Well, that's assuming that you earn up to, within a certain income range. Right?
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, that's correct. The $134 is the base, so that would be the general cost of the premium. If you have earned more than $75,000 as an individual, and I believe $120,000 filing jointly, you're going to have an adjustment on your Medicare Part B premium.
And they don't adjust it down when you make do they?
So they do. There's a 2-year look back.
Right.
So every year they're going to look back 2 years. So if generally what happens is if you've applied for your Medicare benefits before you've retired, you potentially will have a higher Part B premium. When you retire or your income starts to decline, every year when Medicare looks back 2 years, you will start to see your premium decrease and then stabilize. So most people, once they reach full retirement age, once they've been retired for more than 2 years, they're going to see their premium stabilize, and that's probably what it's going to be outside of
forever.
Right, outside of premium increases that happen on an annual basis from the government.
Now, Part C, that's your sup, right?
Well, Part C is actually another word for the Medicare Advantage plan, so that would incorporate Part A, B, and D. So usually those, the Plan Cs, if they're HMO-style policies, they generally have a zero premium. For the PPO-style plans, they're between $40 and $60 a month, depending upon which you choose. Yeah. And Part D, that can run anywhere. I believe the lowest cost premium this year is $17.60.
But that only applies to plans that are when you're buying a traditional Medigap plan,
right? When you buy the Medigap plan and you couple it with a prescription drug plan, which is Part D, so it can run from $17.60 a month up to $109 a month.
And for the plan that you're usually recommending when it comes to the Medigap, the traditional plans, is usually Plan G. Is that correct?
That's correct. Through Transamerica, actually.
This week?
For this year so far, they've had the lowest premium.
What's it run?
For a female turning 65, it's $134 a month.
And then when you add that drug plan to a general drug
another
plan?
$25 a month.
So you're looking at about $160?
Yes.
Okay, so then to go back then, if you're going with a Medicare Advantage plan, if it's a HMO-style plan, you're zero.
Correct.
If you're looking at a PPO, it could be from 45 to 60. Is that correct?
Yes.
If you're going to the traditional plan, the Medigap where you're having to buy D, there you're running in the 165, 170 area.
If you're turning 65 this year, yes.
Exactly, and then everybody's stuck with 134 for Medicare.
Yes, or whatever they're paying for their Medicare. Yes, exactly.
We hope that helps.
Oh.
But let's ask Paul, because I know he's got a question for you.
Well, it's about Medicare Advantage.
Has to be. Good morning, Paul.
Yeah. Hi, Aaron. This is for Aaron.
Okay, hi, Paul.
I'm not insulted in any way, Paul. Just so
yeah, you're kind of sitting on the sideline. Well,
this is my life. What can I tell you?
I'm trying to switch, and I'm getting ready to switch, and I have a Medicare Complete HMO.
Sure.
And the way I get it, since I have a pre-existing condition, I can't go to another vendor. So I heard you say that, yeah, I could, and I'm kind of wondering if I'm hearing two different things.
You absolutely. So if you wanted to switch to another Medicare Advantage plan, there is no medical underwriting. You can switch between October 15th and December 7th, and your new plan will start January 1st. So you don't have to go through any medical underwriting to go from right now you're with United Healthcare if you wanted to go
and that's called Medicare Complete, right?
Right.
That's who I'm with,
right.
United Healthcare, HMO. And the way I got it from some people, they said, nah, if you've got a pre-existing condition, which I do, they said you can't switch.
No, that's not correct. So if you wanted to look at Coventry's Medicare Advantage plans or in Essence Medicare Advantage plans, you can absolutely do that. The application has absolutely no medical questions on it, and they cannot deny you between October 15th and December 7th.
That's what open enrollment's all about.
That's what open enrollment's for. So unless you're looking at a supplemental policy, so if you want to go to a Plan F or a Plan G with United Healthcare or a Plan N, I think they also offer, you do have to go through medical underwriting, but for the Medicare Advantage plans, you don't.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, man, that helps me out. I
we
really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, guys.
You're very welcome. And, there are a lot of folks that are getting bad information. Stay away from the water cooler.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I mean, your friends
just
are your friends.
Want to talk about insurance.
If they were delivering the mail, or if they were electricians, or they were hairdressers or secretaries, they don't know about Medicare.
Why? Who wants to know about
Medicare?
Karen, really?
Call Erin.
Oh, that's a nice.
I just invented that.
Actually,
I got it from your mother. She texted me.
She was tired of texting me.
Easy to do. Give her a call, 314-863-0008. There still is time.
There's still time.
Right.
There's plenty of time.
And our last caller is a perfect person.
Perfect example.
Of somebody that can make a change. And the cool part, Erin, is when you switch somebody from one plan to another one, even if it's an existing client, if they're already enrolled in the Medicare Advantage plan, we don't get paid. It's not like it's this new commission thing, is it? No, it isn't. I mean, it really is. It's truly a service for you. So let's talk to Lynn. Lynn, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I have a question, and I've looked everywhere and can't seem to find the answer. I turned 65 in May. I went to a specialist, got all set up. I have Transamerica G and SilverScript. So I don't, of course, want to make any changes this time, but what I can't find the answer to, do I still need to respond that no change is going to occur, or can I just do nothing?
So if you do nothing, then first of all, your Transamerica policy is not subject to open enrollment. So you never have to worry about that as long as you continue to pay your Transamerica premium.
Oh, okay.
It's going to stay in effect. Your prescription drug plan, you do not have to do anything. What's going to happen is it's going to automatically renew January 1st.
Okay.
At a new rate, possibly.
At a new rate, and also potentially with new co-pays for your prescription. So I might consider taking a look at what the prescription drug plans are offering for 2018. And you don't want to compare your current plan to 2018. You want to compare what your current SilverScript's plan in 2018 is going to look like against the other policies, because your benefits are going to change. But if you do nothing, it's just going to automatically renew. You'll still have prescription drug coverage, no requirement to do anything on your part.
Well,
now, may I ask you, when you say that SilverScript will change for 18, is it assumed no matter which one of the drug plans you pick that they go up every year then?
It's not necessarily that they go up, but what can happen is they might maintain a similar premium, but you might find one of your prescriptions that was Tier 1 is now Tier 2, or Tier 3 is now Tier 4, or that they changed the pricing on the tiers. So that's what can change the benefits. It's not just the premium.
We appreciate your calling. I was going to say one thing. I guess there's a couple ways that she can check this out, right?
If you can go to SilverScript and look at what the new plan benefit is. If you're comfortable with it, you can leave it as is, or not just SilverScript, any of the prescription drug plan providers.
Right.
Or you can contact the professional that you use to set you up with SilverScript.
Right.
Have them run the comparison again for you.
Make them do it. They're getting paid.
It's just I've noticed that when I'm chatting with people specifically about prescription drug plans, they tend to compare their current benefits to what is available for next year. You want to compare what your 2018 benefits are going to look like.
Gotcha.
Because that's what the real comparison is.
That's cool. We've got about 2 minutes left, so Brenda, I know she's been waiting. She got a quick question for Aaron.
Okay.
Go for it, Brenda.
I need a good source for a Medicare supplement comparison for the state of Illinois. I'm power of attorney for a lady, and I think she's paying too much. And so I need to know where I can go to look at comparisons.
Good question.
That is a great question, but what I will say is that if you have a Medicare supplement and she's been in it for more than 1 year, she'll have to go through medical underwriting to switch companies in Illinois.
Okay.
So you absolutely can have a comparison created. Unfortunately, I don't know where the best place to go to have that comparison done for you is. I would be happy to assist, but there's a distinct possibility you might not be able to make a switch for her.
Yeah, because of the underwriting. If it was
exactly.
If it was a Medicare Advantage plan, though, that wouldn't be an issue.
Exactly. Or also the other thing would be if she was in Missouri, that wouldn't be an issue because every year in Missouri, on the policy anniversary date, you can switch companies.
Right.
You can't switch plans, though.
So she doesn't really have any other options but to stay with what she's got?
Or she can also look at the Medicare Advantage plans between now and December 7th to see if that's something that you'd like to consider, especially if you feel like she's paying too much. We might be able to offset the cost of we might be able to take the premium and use it towards out-of-pocket expenses and come out ahead.
Okay, well, she pays about $350 a month.
So then we could absolutely reduce that cost. So, if you were working with a professional, I would definitely give them a call. Or you can always give us a call, 314-863-0008.
That's easy to do, and we're getting a lot of those calls, Aaron, I know, because it's open enrollment season.
That's right.
Again, thanks so much for listening to the show. We're going to continue this next week here on the Big 550
Live.
KTRS. I'm Jeff Lapidus, the retirement coach.
I'm Aaron Lapidus, the health insurance coach.
See you next week.